All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into the Russia-Ukraine situation.
Okay.
Specifically, we're going to look at this fascinating new development with North Korea entering the conflict.
Yeah.
And we've got some pretty incredible sources here that are
Yes.
really going to shed light on what's happening.
Yeah, it is fascinating. And it just throws a whole other kind of wrench into the works in an already complex situation.
Yeah.
We're seeing reports of like around 8,000 North Korean troops
Oh, wow.
stationed in the Kursk region of Russia, which is right near the Ukrainian border.
Yeah, 8,000 troops. That's a serious commitment.
Yeah.
That's not just like a symbolic,
Right.
A symbolic gesture.
No, it's a brigade.
And Zelensky's reaction is really telling.
Right.
He's urging allies to act like now, before these troops even get to the battlefield.
Yeah.
He even talked about like preemptive strikes on their training camps in Russia.
Which, yeah, that's it's pretty drastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it speaks to a certain level of desperation that he feels at this point. He's even asking, gone so far as to request permission to use Western-supplied long-range weapons to hit targets deep within Russia.
So basically what he's saying is the only way to stop this is to hit them so hard that they're forced to rethink their entire strategy.
Yeah, or at least come to the negotiating table.
Right.
That's his argument, that striking Russia's military infrastructure would incentivize them towards peace negotiations.
Right.
However, U.S. defense officials are kind of pushing back on that, claiming those long-range missiles are in short supply and that, Ukraine already has long-range drones that are, capable of similar strikes.
So it's like we're watching two different chess games being played at once.
Yeah.
Zelensky's over here making bold moves, and the allies are kind of like urging caution.
Right.
Thinking several steps ahead.
Yeah. And I think you're right. I think it goes beyond just like the military tactics. It's like a global strategy kind of game of chess.
Right.
Western leaders are particularly worried about the ripple effect that this could have, especially in the Indo-Pacific region.
Oh, totally.
I mean, imagine like North Korea, emboldened by Russia's support, starts, escalating tensions with South Korea or Japan.
Oh, right.
I mean, that could very easily pull the U.S. into a much wider conflict, and who knows what the consequences of that would be.
Yeah, and then there's that whole question of technology transfer.
Right.
What if Russia starts, sharing its advanced military tech with North Korea?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really scary thought.
Yeah.
Imagine North Korea getting their hands on even more sophisticated weapons systems. I mean, it could dramatically shift the balance of power in the region.
Right.
And it could embolden them to act even more aggressively.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about that recent meeting between the North Korean and Russian foreign ministers. I mean, that's a very clear sign of the deepening ties between those two nations.
So while everybody's kind of focused on these North Korean troops showing up, we can't forget that the fighting in Ukraine itself is still really intensifying.
Absolutely. I mean, General Oleksandr Syrskyi, who's the top Ukrainian commander, he's calling this current Russian offensive on the Eastern Front one of the most powerful that they've seen since the war began.
Oh, wow.
They're facing heavy losses and a constant struggle to replenish their resources.
It's kind of a grim picture.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a reminder that even with this North Korea thing going on, that the core conflict is still raging.
Yeah.
And there's no end in sight.
Right.
And of course, we can't forget about the ongoing fighting in the Kursk border region, where Russia has been trying to repel this Ukrainian incursion for almost 3 months now.
Yeah.
It's a multifaceted conflict.
Yeah, it really is.
And there's no easy answers here.
And it really begs the question, with so much at stake and the potential for things to escalate really rapidly, what role should the international community play in this evolving conflict?
Right.
What would responsible intervention even look like?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no easy solution.
Sure, no.
But one thing's for sure.
Yeah.
The situation in Ukraine is changing quickly.
Yeah.
And North Korea's involvement has just added this whole other layer of complexity.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah.
And keep those minds engaged.
Absolutely.
This story is far from over.
Far from over.